COSM continuing on that teeth grinding sideways trading that we've been looking at for a couple days now. Let's go ahead and find out what could happen for the following sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you on this nice Thursday night with COSM technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, so we're going to start off the immediate short-term time frame analysis with the Crypstex ARC-Series indicators. Okay, so now in particular, we're going to start off with DBSI, which is a statistical indicator. It does take a metric of every single candle printed throughout the entire trading history of the asset's particular time frame. In this case, we're looking at it on the bi-hourly chart, and you can see actually, even if we zoom out, you'll see that it does take the metric over literally every candle printed, and that gives us a value, and that value is represented as a percentage, and a percentage based on strength. Okay, so now the bulls, you can see here, are actually losing to the bears at 47% at over 53. Okay, so this is particularly important, okay, because it's been in a very negative value for quite some time, and now that score is actually starting to kind of balance out, which is a very good thing. Okay, so an interesting thing here that I wanted to mention regarding DBSI. First of all, DBSI knows to give us the bear strength or the bull strength based on the positioning of a 13-day exponential moving average. In this case, we are below it, so it would actually give it some type of favor towards the bears, right? Since we are below it. And now in the enhanced MACD, which is another one that's part of the Crypstex ARC-Series indicators, you can see that it printed a bull signal literally today. Okay, so now that the bull signal from DBSI was printed later yesterday. Okay, so we're looking at bull signals starting to show up, and you can actually see that the price action is now starting to literally balance out. Okay, so there could be the possibility of a pivot soon, but I can't verify that just yet. Usually when we're looking at things like this, it kind of shows us that the asset the psychology behind the asset is a bit pensive. Okay, so let's go ahead and hide the 13-day exponential moving average and DBSI and take a look at ARC which is another indicator included in that subscription package for the Crypstex indicators. Please reach out to me on DM and I'll go ahead and go over those details with you. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take a look at this in the hourly to see if we have, okay, yeah, that's literally what I was looking for. Okay, so in the hourly chart, you can see that the ARC has printed now a buy signal. Okay, so something's going on here, and it may be just like I said, it may be that pivot. The hourly enhanced MACD has already printed as well, and that was late yesterday. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue to the next chart to see if we can validate some of these moves. So particularly to the sideways trading that we were talking about, I did mention yesterday that in best case scenario, we would literally use this at the very top area, but we would be trading a little bit here, maybe a wick down below, and literally happening just like that. Okay, so you can see here that we actually used as resistance the little gap that we actually had, which I always tell you guys, I literally keep these tiny gaps in play for future play. Okay, so the gap was comprised of wick high candle of November 21st and the wick low candle of November 22nd. Pardon me. So you can see here that we're still honoring that, and also this can be arguably a spinning top doji, which is usually, I mean, I would like the body to be a lot smaller, of course, but usually this presents a kind of a tie between the bears and the bulls for that day. Okay, so, and it's very much in accordance to what's happening within the DBSI indicator, giving us that score very close to each other, which is about 59 to 41, 59 being the bear lead. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next chart, as this is still actually, let's look at the close, because that was a market close. Okay, so yeah, we're still, so the close of the candle still happened within our range, so we're still looking okay, you guys, no problems here. Let's look at the next chart. So this is going to be the statistical side of the analysis, and this is particularly to a volatility versus momentum profile. Okay, so the backtest includes volatility, which is what you're looking at right here, represented by this indicator BBWP. So I did mention that upon the backtest of, you know, literally the entire trading history of COSM, I actually did this by hand. So I backtested every single iteration where we have moved above or within the 90 percentile critical volatility, and have also started either a contraction phase to the downside or maintained ourselves at the critical volatility top of maybe 98% or above, printing these red bars. Okay, so anytime that I have noticed within these back tests, I have measured the upside. I can actually give it to you like this. I can measure the upside thrust of that iteration. I have measured the duration of that iteration, you know, based on the candle structures like this. Okay, and that gave us a statistical value to review. Okay, now know that these statistical values are just statistics and they're not certainties. Okay, we must know the difference. Okay, you guys, so in this case you can actually see that we do have an 82.857% accuracy in guessing that upside, particularly to volatility versus momentum, which is a stat based on 35 total iterations throughout the entire trading history on the one-day chart in particular, of which 29 were guessed to the upside correctly. Okay, so that upside thrust is not 75% based on the ratio that we actually encountered with the reverse split that actually adjusted the math to about 100.378% upside thrust over the span of about 13 and a quarter days. Now, please know, and I did mention this yesterday, and I will mention it again, that the conditions are not set quite yet, and they do still need to be set. Okay, so you can see that this is my implied path, my little LARP line here. Okay, so I actually drew that yesterday, and as you can see, the starting of the pivot is actually right here where I put my trend line. Okay, so this is today's activity. Okay, literally from here to here is what happened from yesterday. Okay, so let's just go ahead and just make it like this, and you can see that this is essentially what we're looking for. Okay, as soon as we start making this upside pivot, the conditions of the statistical upside would then be confirmed, and then we can apply that 100% move to the upside, and then we can weight that 13 and a quarter average duration. Okay, so we're not quite there yet, but the conditions look like they're starting to correct into favoring that upside, which is literally the hopium that I wanted to give you. Now know that it's hopium for now, and it's not a certainty as long as we are not within the criteria or the conditions set for that upside thrust. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the last part of the analysis. So for the new viewers, I would like for you to just take a look at this RSI diagram right over here that I have for you. Please notice that there are four zones of which I will be speaking very often that are located here as well. They're just blown up for your convenience. Okay, so the 30-minute immediate short-term time frame is suggesting an upside continuation. Okay, now it has moved above the 14-day moving average represented by this pink line, and you know I'm talking about it by the purple line being the RSI signal. Okay, but do notice the position. Always remember the position of which the RSI signal is in, and in this case you can see that we're in the shallow area, in the deep areas of the bear weakness percentile. So while we sit in this area here, we can actually, you can see the candle right there, you go. So while we sit in this area here, you can actually expect gravitational pull into the bear strength percentile. Okay, the good thing is that we do have the moving average below us that may be able to hold us from that gravitational pull, but it's not a guarantee just yet. We need to validate that in real time, and it's also in the immediate short term. Okay, so that's likely going to be lived out pretty fast. Okay, so now the bi-hourly time frame is suggesting still a bit of sideways trading. The pivot seems to be favoring the upside just a little bit, but please know that the moving average, just like I was speaking over here, you can see that the moving average was strong enough to hold as resistance so that I can continue as a guide to the way down. Now we are approaching the moving average yet again. Okay, so this time the gravitational pull is a little less. Okay, so since we are in a deeper area, still nonetheless we're in the shallow areas of the bear strength percentile. So still, you know, of course, we can always face that rejection and continue on to the downside. But since the gravitational pull is at a lesser value, you know, because we're down a little deeper, then we can actually possibly face that upside. Again, this is immediate short term. It's still the buy hourly. It can live out maybe before a half a session, okay, a half a trading session. So the 6-hour time frame still suggesting sideways trading as well. The positioning is very dangerous, and the 14-day moving average is suggesting a slight pivot towards the downside, okay, and we can actually use this as a guide to the downside, but it's still nonetheless suggesting sideways trading, slightly bearish, barely bullish, okay, literally the same as what I've been saying for the last few days, okay. And the daily time frame is still, let's see, yeah, it's still very much in the very deep areas of the bear weakness percentile. This means that we can actually face a pullback into the bear strength percentile. Okay, so I would actually encourage this to happen. I would really encourage for us to continue a bit to the downside, regardless of wicking down below that support line that we're talking about here. I would really like for us to just pressure down and continue like correcting and pressuring down and continuing correcting. Why? Is because that would essentially set the conditions for the statistical upside move. We would love for this to just continue ever so slightly to the downside and then correct for a massive 100% move to the upside. Okay, so I hope that I am answering the questions correctly for COSM, but the range is still looking around the same-ish for tomorrow for me. Okay, so please know that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment. Okay, I need you to do your own DD and everything will be just fine. Okay, you guys, everything is looking good. We just need to go over some more teeth grinding sideways trading. Okay, you guys, if you don't hesitate to reach out to me. Okay, I'll leave the links in the description below for you to consider joining the ARCa trading community, and also to visit me on Twitter. Now, know that you can acquire these ARC-Series indicators by sending me a DM. I'll go ahead and go over the subscription packages with you. Also, know that the subscription packages are not including a subscription package from TradingView themselves, as Crypstex are authorized retailers within the TradingView space. Okay, so you would need to create either a free account with TradingView or a paid account with TradingView so that you can actually gain access to these indicators as they are written in the native language in the proprietary native language to TradingView, which is called Pine Script. Okay, you guys. So with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.